Here's my heart, Lord. Here's my heart, Lord. Here's my heart, Lord.
They're playing our song.
Speak what is true.
Let's just listen together.
Here's my heart, Lord. Here's my heart, Lord. Here's my heart, Lord. Speak what is true. I am found, I am yours, I am loved, I'm made pure, I have life, I can breathe, I am healed, I am free.
So take a nice deep breath together, breathing in the love and the light that is us, that represents who we are. Breathe that into your heart. Hold your hand against your heart. Feel your heartbeat. And then extend that love and that light out into the world. Again. I've missed you. Here's my heart, Lord. Here's my heart. Just continue being aware of our breath and our heartbeats. And awareness of where the mind wanders also. Bringing it back to this moment of connection. Here's what it says. I am found. I am yours. I am loved. I'm made pure. I have life. I can breathe. I can breathe again. Thank you, God. I am healed. I am free. Because you are strong. You are sure. You are life. You endure. You are good. Always true. You are light. Breaking through. You are more than enough. You are here. You are loved. You are hope. You are grace. You're everything. Raise your voices to sing. Let's all sing together. It's my heart, Lord. And here's my life. Here's my life, Lord. Oh, speak what is true. Tell me where to go, tell me what to do, tell me what to say, and to whom. Let me know the truth. Let me be a conduit of truth. Let me be a conduit of kindness and compassion and caring and peace. Let me be a compassionate responder. Let me be visible love. I'm so grateful to be sharing this path with you, these lessons with you, and this time with you. I'm here still in quarantine, still positive for COVID as of yesterday, but feeling much better, feeling stronger. I have a voice that I can use to speak with you today. I have Pam's Miracles with a Twist shirt, and I have gratitude. I have a lot of gratitude for what this experience has been, and I want to share a little bit of that with you. Even though I'm pre-recording, I'm not going live today because, you never know what the evening is going to be like when you're not 100%. But I do feel better and better every day, and I do plan on being out under the full moon on Monday evening with you. So if you're local, come out to Lauderdale by the Sea Monday, which is the 16th at 7 o'clock, Lauderdale by the Sea. I will send out reminders and invitations and the daily text, email, Facebook, all of that. I wanted to talk a little bit about just the irony of how this came about, because the last time we were together was Thursday, April 28th, and I was fine. I did our gathering. We had our gathering. We were all in good spirits. We had a great evening together, even though we had some technical difficulties. I don't know if you remember that night. I wasn't able to go live because I was having technical difficulties. So we did a pre-recording, as we are doing here today, and then we uploaded that to Facebook. But I was feeling great. And then the next day, which was Friday the 29th, I started feeling poorly. But it wasn't like a cold coming on. It wasn't like a flu coming on. It was like this sudden unraveling of health. I mean, it was just like nothing I'd ever experienced before. And it just kept getting worse and worse. There were a couple days where I was completely bedridden and in pain. It reminded me a little bit of the illness of mononucleosis that I had when I was in my 20s. And that was similar in terms of what it felt like and the longevity of it, and how long it took to start even seeing glimpses of hope, of improvement. And so the irony of it is that when we had our last gathering, the discussion was about healing. And we were on the Manual for Teachers, the question of healing, and the answer in discussion was very focused on the fact that healing is of the mind, that yes, there can be healing of the body, yes, there can be miracles in this experience, but that's not what ultimate healing is. Ultimate and true healing of our consciousness is what truly matters. And so regardless of whatever our physical experience is, whether it's a miraculous healing or the opposite, a decline in health, regardless of what it is, what truly matters is how our consciousness goes and grows through the experience, and then how it continues on after the experience. And so for those of us who are questioning, why is this happening, this particular thing, whatever it is that you're going through, we question, why is this happening? And how can I see this experience through the eyes of a determined spiritual warrior? How do I understand the human physical experience while suffering, and still maintain a dedication to the ultimate truth, not the manifest truth of the human experience, but the ultimate truth of the spiritual experience. And so, sure enough, I started seeing lessons related to my particular COVID experience, which is really interesting considering I was a healthcare worker during COVID. I was daily exposed to COVID, and yet I was never sick, and I was never positive with COVID. I was isolating at times, I was quarantined at times, but I went to work every day, and we didn't have a manual for handling COVID. There was no disaster manual in place, because disaster manuals, for any of you who are in healthcare, they generally deal with things like tornadoes and hurricanes and floods and fires. And then the most updated thing that was added to disaster manuals was active shooter. And so those are all the trainings we had to go through. There was no global pandemic chapter in our manuals. And so all of it had to be created like sort of on the go. And one of the things that was created was the job position that I stepped into. Even though my primary position was as the chaplain, I became the person who was monitoring all the visitors. And by monitoring the visitors, I also mean that I had to make sure they were properly attired with PPE and then unattired of PPE. And so I was constantly exposed. Never got sick, never. I never even had a cold during all the COVID. And so now why? Why now? And that was a question of timing that I asked of Spirit. And the answer was very interesting. And it's because of where we are in our learning and in our applying what we've learned to our lives, applying our spiritual lessons, whether A Course in Miracles is your path or not, or you just happen to stumble on it in this video. So I was looking at some things that came my way, and interestingly enough, people were sending me things to read, and I had a really hard time reading. It was like these cooties were in my eyes and in my brain and in my skull and in my body, and it was like I could feel all of that going on, but I was having a hard time speaking. I just recently regained my voice. I just recently regained the air that it takes to use my voice. My eyes were always very, very fatigued. But I would, sort of get glimpses of things, and something came my way and I didn't know where it came from. So I was researching it, trying to find it. And wouldn't you know, it came from the Manual for Teachers, which is where we are. So, no mistakes, never any mistakes. And so I feel like the timing is right for me to understand, how we can approach, or I can approach, this particular experience of COVID from a spiritual perspective, based on our very strong conviction in our last conversation that healing is not of the body but of the mind. And so it was up to me to see and to monitor what was going on with my mind and in my mind. So this quote came along, and it was from chapter 12, not chapter 12, but question number 12. Question number 12 in the Manual for Teachers. And the question was, how many teachers of God are necessary? The exact question is, how many teachers of God are needed to save the world? And the quote that I came across was in paragraph 6. But of course, I went through the whole thing to see what else I wanted to share. And so I wanted to share from paragraph 4 to start. It says, God's teachers recognize the proper purpose of the body. They advance and become more and more certain that the body's function is to let God's voice speak through it to human ears. And these human ears will carry to the mind of the hearer of the message that we are not of this world, and the mind will understand. So when do we get to a place of understanding? We get to it when it finally registers, and we can hear these words. We can talk about these words, but at some point it registers. Some point there's this aha. Like, okay, I get it now. We are not of this manifest world. We are of the ultimate reality beyond this world. From this understanding will come the recognition of this new teacher of God, of what the body's purpose truly is, and what we are all really here for. This lesson is enough to let the thought of unity come. This lesson is enough to let the thought of unity come. So the thought of unity is the understanding of who we are to one another. That while you may be suffering something of the body or of the mind, of the emotions, and I may be suffering of something of the body or the mind, of the emotions, that together it is through our true caring, our true love, compassion for one another that will ultimately make a difference. So will some people heal? Yes, they will. Some people will have miraculous healings of their body. Some people will not. Some people will have a rapid deterioration of their body. Other people will have long, arduous suffering. And it's not about who thought right. It's not about who thought according to certain principles. It is not about that. It is about how we rose above the body, how we rose above the particular experiences of this lifetime. That's not to say that those miraculous cures don't occur, but those miraculous cures that occur are part of the script that was written for that person to have that experience so that they can then go into the world as the manifestation of that miracle, to be a true representation of what a miracle really is. What is it? A shift in consciousness, and a willingness and an opportunity to be a blessing to others. It's probably unfortunate to have a miracle and to not use that to the benefit of others. But some of us have the opportunity and the task to truly see what we are doing with our minds and how our minds are representations of our hearts. Look, I'm sorry I had this experience of COVID, but COVID doesn't have me. I had COVID. COVID doesn't have me. What I have is a wall of love. What I have is love that has shown up in so many ways, mostly with food. Oh my God, I've had the most amazing soups and food and goodies delivered, hand delivered, and coming, falling from the sky practically. Every way you can think of food and love and kindness and friendship, it has shown up here for me to feel better. And I can guarantee you that whatever it was that COVID needed to do in my body did what it needed to do, and it was unpleasant. But when all this love did to my heart is truly what I will carry with me. And you know who shows up. You know who shows up. And you also know who doesn't show up. And that's just a forgiveness opportunity. Because some people just don't have the capacity to stretch. And other people stretch so far and wide that it's as if they've become yogis in their demonstration of love. And this amazing demonstration of love occurred today. Let me tell you the story. I had, every day I have a little bit of energy that I use for some purpose or another. Only for the past few days, because the first like 10 or 12 days, I was just knocked out. And as the energy came back, I would do one thing. Maybe it was fill the bird feeder. Maybe that was it for the day. So today I had this idea that I would clip away these growths that come out of my beautiful palm tree. I have this great palm tree on my front lawn. And every now and then it has these bubbly growth things that I don't know what they're called, but I always try to get up there and clip them away. So today I took my clippers and I was clipping, and I did it specifically today because it's garbage pickup day. And I didn't have my bin out yet. I figured I'd clip everything, then I would get the bin, put everything in the bin, put that out on the street, and then that would be my big task. So as I'm getting started with my clippings, the garbage truck pulls up because I'm very close to a corner. So this truck turns the corner, and I'm like, oh, well, I guess I'm not gonna get done in time, but at least I'll get it done because I have a little energy. I'll get it done, and I'll put the clippings away, and then, Monday's another day, the next garbage day. So the garbage collector pulls up right in front of my house, rolls down the window, and he says, I'll wait. I thought, that's so nice. That's so nice. I said, okay. I said, I won't be long. So I do my clippings. But as I'm doing the clippings, I'm thinking about the fact that I don't have my bin out yet. I still have to get the bin and bring that out and pick up all this stuff and put it in. And I'm not moving very fast through anything. And so in my mind, I'm a little concerned about how much of his time I'm going to take. And I noticed that my neighbor's bin is out, and my neighbor's bin is practically on my driveway. So I'll just put it in my neighbor's bin. So as I pick up some of the clippings and I take him over to the neighbor's bin, I turn around and he's out of the truck picking up the rest of my clippings, and he goes and he puts them away and he gets back in his truck. And as he's getting back in his truck, I'm like, wait. I just want to tell you how much I appreciate you. I mean, that's beyond customer service. That's really such an act of kindness that's going to stay with me today. And I'm going to tell others that this just happened. I've never had this experience with, on garbage day before. And he said, no, it's just that I really believe in letting people know that they're loved and that they're worthy of kindness. And I just want you to know that. And I'm just so taken by this moment that I'm having with this guy. And I'm thinking about how there are people who may be in judgment of him because this is what he does as a job. He's a garbage collector. But who he really is this conduit of love and kindness who wanted to make sure that I knew that he believed that I was worthy of kindness. And he's just driving away, that's just another moment in time for him. And it was beyond just a moment in time for me. And then he was still kind of talking as he's driving away. And then he puts his hand on and he says, God bless you. And I said, God bless you. And that's what this is all about. That's what this is all about. It wasn't about, complaining about the weather or judging the people on the street or complaining about COVID. It was just about saying, you are worthy of love. You are worthy of kindness. And you have the capacity within you to be that person who also extends love and kindness. Even if it means you have to stretch outside your comfort zone a little tiny bit, because every time you stretch, you expand. Every time you stretch, you expand, and your capacity grows richer and deeper and wider. How wonderful that I had that guy. I just love him, and I love that experience. And it reminds me of a story I was told. I don't know if this is a true story. It was going around the internet about this guy and his family that were in a bomb shelter in Mariupol in Ukraine. And he was looking out at a moment of quiet and stillness, and he saw that there was a car parked outside the bomb shelter, and he grabbed his family and they got in the car, and there was keys in the car, and they took off in the car and they drove to safety. And he said as he was going through the car later, he found a phone number in the glove compartment, and he called that number and he said, look, man, I'm sorry, but I stole your car. I drove my family to safety. I can tell you where the car is. And the guy said, no, just leave it running for the next person. That's why I put it there. And apparently he was a person of wealth who had a couple extra cars, and he drove them to different areas that were being bombed. A tremendous act of kindness. I don't know if it's true, but I love the story. I love the story. And I love my garbage collector man today because they are those little glimpses into the ultimate truth of humanity. What humanity was meant to be. Kindness, love, just love in action. Are we meant to do other things? Yeah, but just as you know, daily uniforms, the daily uniform you put on to go out and collect garbage, but while you have your uniform on, you're actually showing kindness and changing people's lives by letting them know that they're worthy, regardless of what you do, regardless of your job, regardless of your daily task. You can peek through that veil of just, you know, the facade. The facade is, you know, whatever costume we wear on a daily basis. To peek through that, to see the truth of someone else, to see the reality of the beloved, of the sacred in another person, and to extend yourself to let them know that you see them, that you see who they are. This is a quote from Ken Wapnick. It says, Jesus does not need a Course in Miracles missionaries. He doesn't need the word to get out. He needs the word to get in. He needs the word to get in. That's what we're doing here. We're getting these words, these lessons into our hearts and into our lives and into a way of being. Into a way of being. So this is what I actually came across that I wanted to share with you. In addition to that, awareness of dreaming is the real function of God's teachers. They watch the dream figures come and go, shift and change, suffer and die. They are not deceived by what they see. They recognize that to behold a dream figure as sick or separate is no more real than to regard it as healthy and beautiful. So regardless of how we see the external self, the task is to be aware of the true self. And that is what we are using our eyes for, to see the true self, our inner eye, our third eye, the eye of our heart, to be able to truly see. And so I'm just so grateful that we have this time together, and it's not going to be a lot of time. It's going to be just enough time to say that I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for all the love that has been extended to me these past 10, 12 days. It's going to be a full 2 weeks tomorrow. And I'm going to test again on Saturday, so hopefully by then I'll test negative. I tested positive yesterday. But you know what? I'm grateful. I really am. I'm grateful for this experience. I'm grateful for you. And I'm going to play a song for you by Karen Drucker. And that song is called I Am Grateful. Because I am. I am so grateful. I'll hold it up for you.
Gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful. Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful, Gratitude before me. Gratitude behind me. Gratitude to the left of me.
To the left of me,
To the right of me.
to the right of me,
Gratitude above me. Gratitude within me. Gratitude all around me.
I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful.
I'm so grateful.
I'm so grateful.
I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful.
Are you singing along? Are you grateful? I hope you are. There's so much to be grateful for, especially one another. It's our closing prayer for tonight. And don't forget, we're going to get together on Monday night. Today, in gratitude, we lift our hearts above despair and raise our thankful eyes, no longer looking downward to the dust. We sing a song of thankfulness in honor of the self that God has willed to be our true identity. Today, we smile on everyone we see and walk with lightened footsteps as we go to do what is appointed us to do. I'm so grateful. God bless you.